Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. My name, as Doug mentioned to you, is Red Feather Woman. Waika Uta Wenya is my traditional name. And my stage name. I'm also known as Rose Red Elk, Haywood. I was born on the Fort Peck Reservation in Montana. I'm an enrolled member of the Sioux and Assiniboine tribes. In my profession, I am a storyteller, singer-songwriter. So I travel the world telling stories, singing songs about the stories I tell. I tell traditional ancient stories, and then I've themed the songs about the stories I tell. And Doug is my producer and has helped arrange all of these things, and we've done well with the first 2 CDs. So what I'm going to do is just tell you, I'll tell you how I received my Indian name, and then I'm going to tell you a funny story, and then I'm going to sing you a couple of some songs after that, and just take it from there. My traditional name was given to me by my grandfather, Joseph Flyby, who was a traditional medicine man. He's from North Dakota. He's passed on into the spirit world now. But many years ago, I met him at a wake on the reservation, and he was way off in a corner. And my uncle, and it's still customary in my culture that we hold the elders in high regard and high respect. And whenever there's a medicine man or woman around, the relatives will come up and they'll whisper to you and they'll say, "Grandma so-and-so is over there." In my case, Grandpa Flying By is back there. You should go speak to him. He's a medicine man. Well, you always want to take advantage of this type of opportunity because they're very rare and they're very special. And they're very quiet, and they don't stand out. They don't make a big scene of who they are because everyone in the community knows a medicine man or a medicine woman. And so I walked up to him and I told him that I was Jack Pipe's daughter, and he immediately just started talking to me, and he was telling me this story. He said that a long time ago, when he was a young boy, he was inducted into the war, World War II, he said, and he didn't want to go to the war. He said he was afraid because he couldn't speak English very well at all. And he didn't want to go all the way to a different country. He didn't know any of the language, any of the customs, and he was afraid to do so, not because he was afraid of fighting, because it's a very great honor to be a warrior even today amongst the native men and women. He said it was because he was afraid he couldn't understand what was going on in their country. So they come to take him away, the officers, and he took off in the woods and stayed for many days, and then finally he had to come out, and they came back to get him again, and he had to go. And he said he fought very bravely, and he fought with honor, and he learned what he could with the language, but then he was wounded. He was hit in the arm, and it wounded him badly enough that he was able to come home. And he said after he came home, he was inducted into the Red Feather Warrior Society. And I said, "A what?" He goes, "The Red Feather Warrior Society." It's still a society today, intact, that when a warrior is wounded in battle, they are inducted, asked to become to the society, and they wear a red feather in their hair in ceremonies and in powwows. And he said, "This is what I do." And I thought, wow, that's a really great story, and it was true. So the next day, he was with my grandmother, and they were speaking fluent Lakota, and I couldn't understand because I don't speak my language fluently. And they were just talking back and forth, and then he says, then my uncle interpreted, and he said, "Rose wants her Indian name." And I was telling her about the war. And I think that she should be called Waika Uta Wenya, Red Feather Woman, after the Red Feather Warrior Society. And I just stood there, and then my aunts and my uncles and my cousins were all surrounding me, and it was like, ah, wow. And he said that I needed to be able to carry this name in honor for all of the veterans and all of the warriors in my family that had not been inducted into that society, and I would be able to carry that name with honor. And so this is where I received my name, the Red Feather Woman, after the Red Feather Warrior Society. So I use that as my stage name as well. Now, as a storyteller, I want to tell you a story. And this is a funny story. That's one of Doug's favorite, and all of my family members, especially the children, of where the wind comes from. And this is from my first album, The Keepers of the Earth, and which, by the way, that one won the Native American Music Award of 2006. Thank goodness to Doug Haywood and myself and all those involved. The wind blows really high in Colorado, and it does on the plains in Montana as well. And this is the story of where the wind comes from. Gluchaba and the Wind Eagle. Gluchaba, about 12 years old, was, what do you say? He was like the Dennis the Menace of the neighborhood. You know what that means? Dennis the Menace. Always in trouble, always asking questions, always into everything, all the time. Always. Well, this particular day, the wind was blowing so hard, but he wanted to go hunting and he wanted to go fishing. Well, he was told he probably shouldn't do that because the wind was blowing too hard, but he didn't listen. So he went out. He was going to go hunting. He took his bow and his arrow, and he went out to the fields, and he could see the rabbits scurrying across the fields. Oh, he saw a big one, but the wind's blowing really hard, but that doesn't stop him. He gets his bow out, has his quiver with his arrows, he pulls out that arrow, rears back, takes his aim, lets go with that arrow, and it goes, blows away. He's mad, he lost his arrow. Didn't stop him. He's stubborn, he's going to continue to hunt. The wind's not going to stop him. He looks around again and he sees a rabbit. Sees two of them. Takes his bow, gets his arrow, whirs back, makes that aim just right. Lets go of that arrow, it goes shooting across the field, and then off it went again. Lost another arrow. Oh, he's furious. Can't hunt. Well, he decides, well, I'll go fishing. Goes by the river, sees all these fish in the river, but the wind's blowing, he's making waves. But he knows he can get that fish. This time he has this big spear, big staff. Takes aim, takes run and jump, runs as hard as he can, lets go with that spear, and it goes, took off on the other side of the river. Oh, he was mad. Lost his spear. Couldn't hunt. Couldn't fish. He's furious. Well, there's only one thing that he can do. He has to go see Grandmother. Grandmother's wise. Grandmother has all the answers. Always. So he goes up to her lodge. Big lodge. In the front of the lodge, it's customary teepee etiquette. Put a staff in front of it. That means do not come in. They don't want to be disturbed. So what does he do? He knocks that over anyway. He walks in. He goes, Grandmother, Grandmother, where does the wind come from? I can't hunt. I can't fish. Grandmother, where does the wind come from? Gluchaba, what are you doing in here? Get away. You bother me. Go away. Oh, Grandmother, please tell me where the wind comes from. Please tell me where the wind comes from. I can't hunt. I can't fish. Oh, Gluchaba, go away. You bother me. I'm not going to tell you where the wind comes from. I don't trust you. Grandmother, please tell me. Please tell me where the wind comes from, please. Oh, Gluchaba, you make my head hurt. Hush. I will tell you where the wind comes from, but you must promise me you will do nothing to disturb the wind eagle. The wind eagle? Yes, on the east peak, a giant wind eagle stands 40 feet tall. When he spreads his wings, the wind blows throughout the earth. No, go away, you bother me, but you must promise me you will do nothing to disturb the wind eagle. Oh, no, Grandmother, I won't do anything to disturb that wind eagle. Nothing, I won't. So he hurries out, closes the flap, grabs his things, and where do you think he's going? To go see that wind eagle. He has some unfinished business. The wind's blowing so hard, and he's going to go towards the east peak. It's blowing, and the wind's blowing his hair and his fringe off his buckskin, and he's trying to get closer to the mountain, and as he gets a little bit closer and closer, it blows off his eyebrows. Doesn't care. What's few eyebrows? Just got to see that wind eagle. He's getting closer and closer, blows off his hair. Still fighting that wind. He's almost climbing on top of the peak, blows off his moccasins. The wind is still blowing, and he's starting to climb. Blows off his shirt. Doesn't stop him. He's getting climbing higher and higher, and almost up to the edge of the mountain. Blows off his pants. No clothes, no eyebrows, nothing. But he doesn't care. He's got to see that wind eagle. Climbs up and he looks over. What does he see? The most magnificent thing ever. Giant wind eagle, taller than what Grandma said, 60 feet tall. When he spread his wings, the wind blew throughout the earth. Grandfather! Says Gluchilla. Grandfather! The wind eagle stops.
Who is it that calls me grandfather?
It's me, your grandson. Stop making the wind blow. I have something to tell you. The wind eagle stops. So Gluchilla climbs up, looking really strange, and kind of cowers in front of him and goes, "Oh, grandfather, you make the wind blow so good."
Yes, I know,
says the wind eagle. But grandfather, I know of a way you can make it blow even better.
Well, how can this be?
Says Gluchilla. See this peak right here? If you perch yourself right here, the wind will blow better throughout the earth.
How can this be? Creator made me to make the wind blow. I cannot fly. How will I get there?
I will help you, said Gluchilla. So he hurries, grabs some vine, and makes some rope, comes back and ties that wind eagle up all the way around, really tight, where his wings are close to his body. He can't move. Gluchilla puts his arms around him. He's a really strong little boy. Picks him up, takes a couple of steps like this, and all of a sudden turns him upside down between these crevices. The wind eagle's sticking straight, his feet sticking straight up, and he can't move. And his feet are going back and forth, and he's bellowing, "Don't leave me here! Don't leave me here!" Gluchilla looks at him, he claps his hands and goes, "I'm going to go hunting and fishing now. No wind." So he hurries back down the peak, runs back to his village. It's great! It's grand! He hunted all he wanted. Got all the squirrel he could ever eat, and rabbit. So wasteful he was. Went fishing. Got all the fish he could ever eat. Couldn't give them all away. And this went on for weeks. And then something happened. He had to go see grandmother again. Same thing. He goes up to the lodge, staff in front of it, knocks that staff over and walks in and goes, "Grandmother, why is it so hot? It's so hot, and the bugs are everywhere, they won't leave me alone. And the air, it stinks and smells funny, and the water's all icky. Yeah. Grandmother, what's wrong? Why is it so hot?" "Gluchilla, what have you done?" "I haven't done anything, grandmother." "Gluchilla, what have you done?" "I haven't done anything, grandmother. Why do you always think I do something? I didn't do anything." "Gluchilla, you tell me right now what you have done. I know you. I know you. What have you done?" "Well, grandmother, you know that wind eagle, Yes, I know that Wendigo very well, thank you. Well, I kind of I tied him up where he couldn't make the wind blow anymore. You did what? Oh gosh. Oh, Gluchaba, that is bad. Oh my goodness. Don't you see, Gluchaba? We need the wind. It keeps the elements balanced on the planet. It keeps the air fresh and the water pure and the bugs away. You go back right now and take care of that wind eagle. Don't you see that all the elements are connected on the planet? You go back right now and take care of that. And don't ever do that again. Oh no, grandmother. I won't. Yes, I will take care of that now. Leaves. Hurries back up to the peak. He doesn't want to be recognized. He has clothes on. His hair is growing back. Climbs up there. Hurries. Doesn't take him very long because he doesn't have to fight the wind. And what does he see? Just like he left him, the wind eagle perched, tied up, still, his feet still flapping, still bellowing, "Somebody help me! Somebody help me!" Gluchaba looks at him and goes, Uncle, what are you doing there?" "Who is it that calls me uncle?" "It's me, your nephew. What are you doing down there? You look awful funny." "I don't know, some strange-looking fellow with no hair, clothes, eyebrows, or anything lied to me. Told me I could make the wind blow better, but he lied. Help me." "Ah, that was a mean trick," says Gluchaba. "I will help you." So he picks him up, stands him up, and let's gets the vine off of him. Wendigo stands and perches himself. Spreads his wings. Gentle breeze flow throughout the earth. Gluchaba looks at him and goes, "Oh, Uncle." And the Wendigo says, "Yes, grandson." "Oh, grandfather, you make the wind blow so good." "Yes, I know." "Ah, but grandfather, sometimes it's good that the wind does not blow." I see that this is so. So that is why now sometimes the wind blows and sometimes it doesn't. And that's the story of Gluchaba and the Wind Eagle. So the song I'm going to sing for you is called Wind Eagle. Stands on the high mountain top. You can feel him through the air. His wings fill the sky with his power and his might, and you know that he's there. Feel the wind, feel it blow through your soul, and you know that he's there. Feel the wind, feel him blow through your soul, and you know that he's there.
directions to make the wind blow, and in wisdom we must see. Feel the wind, feel it blow through your soul, let me know that he's there. Feel the wind, feel him blow through your soul, and you know that he's there. We know we have no power over the wind, and respect he demands. All elements are connected on this planet, and he rules all the land. Feel the wind, feel it blow through your soul, and you know that he's there. Feel the wind, feel him blow through your soul, let me know that he's there. Feel the wind, feel the wind, feel the wind.
This next song is Medicine Woman, and as I mentioned earlier, medicine men and medicine women and different tribes have different ways of teaching the medicine ways. And this particular song is about a story, and the story is on a CD, but I'm going to sing the song for you. It's about a Nez Perce medicine woman, and the story, the short story of this primarily is that in the Nez Perce tribes, they start teaching their children at the age of 8, the women, the medicine ways. And they teach them in ceremonies and in spiritual ways. And this is a story of a young girl who was taught by the spirits at 8. She was taken up in the mountains. Well, I was inspired by the story, and also I was given permission by a Nez Perce medicine man, who I talked to him about this story, and I asked him if it was okay to tell it, and he said absolutely. He said his mother was a medicine woman, and he talked about the bears and how they were a very important part and power of the indigenous people of the Nez Perce, and also of the Lakota. And so I was inspired by the story, and this is my version of what it might have been to be taught by a medicine woman in that way.
Once I knew a medicine woman, and I knew her well. We would sit by the fire, listen to the stories that she would tell. And as I grew from a child into a woman wild, she taught me and taught me well. Time would only tell. afraid of sheep. Would my medicine heal others? Would I ever be pure as the spring water? And no, like all the others, ancient ways of long ago days. They say I'm a medicine woman, and my gifts I give to you. Give your thanks to the Creator. He works through me in all I do, and we'll soar through the sky. You and only I pass by the stars so bright, and I will give you my light.
This last song I'd like to sing for you is a love song, and this is one I wrote many years ago back driving to the reservation, and I was inspired by my grandmother, who was from Turtle Mountain. She's Chippewa, and Lakota, of course. I'm Lakota and Assiniboine. And this is a story of a young couple who were married in modern times, and this is we call urban Indians. I don't know if you know what an urban Indian is. That's what I am. They live off the reservation in the community, and they were both on the reservation though. And he was actually from he was half-breed, is what we say, or he was mixed. Now we just say, you know, he was part Indian. And he was from a very dysfunctional family. There's a lot of drugs and alcohol in the family, and he had a hard time growing up, but he was still managed to get through high school, and he did. And then she, on the other hand, was from a very traditional family. No drugs or alcohol at all in the family. Taught the ways and ceremonies, and she knew her customs. And they met one night after high school graduation. They had a 49. Now, I don't know, how many of you have ever been to a powwow? Okay, how many of you have ever been to a 49? 49 is after the powwow, and then later on sometimes it's not even, you don't even have a powwow. You just go down to the river bottom and you have a drum and you party and drink a little bit or a lot, and you know, it's teenagers. It's their way of having a good time. They call it a 49. Well, they went to the 49 and they saw each other and fell in love. Well, they had a traditional ceremony. They were taught by the elders that they would be blessed, that their life's journey might be very difficult, and then during that time, if they had their love, then they would have everything. They would have their traditions and their culture at the same time. But it would be hard. Well, they couldn't make a living on the reservation because there's not any jobs, and still today it's a high rate of unemployment. So they left and moved to the big city. It was very lonely. It was very hard, really tough. And things started changing, and his heart started changing in a way, and he started drinking, and pretty heavy. And she was a tough lady, you know. She went after him to the bars to get him, and he said no. And things changed, And this is the rest of the story, called Together They Stand.
She saw him standing by the fire. He could see the light in her eyes. She could feel him standing beside her that cold night at the 49. They danced together to the drum beat. They could feel their hearts beat as one. She, Chippewa, from Turtle Mountain, he, Lakota, from the Great Plains. She lifts him up as high as the mountains and the stars that lie beyond. Her heart with all of his passion. He fills her heart with a new song. Together they balance like the stars and the moonlight and the sun that sets with sweet earth. Together they stand alone with each other, but every day brings a new birth. They moved away to the city to find work and start a family. But life was lonely off the reservation, and it was hard to make ends meet. Then something happened to his spirit, turned to the drink to ease his pain. Drinking made his pain go away. Why couldn't he start to feel? She went looking for him in the barroom. She walked up to him and said, "Let's go home." He turned and looked into her eyes. He turned away and simply said no. Then something hit him like a bolt of lightning. Words of wisdom it heard long ago. Look inside to balance uncertainty. Remember your love and you'll never be alone. 50 years passed on their life's journey. The worst is all behind them now. They laugh and dance with their grandchildren. They laugh and sing at the powwows, and she lifts him up as high as the mountains and the stars that lie beyond. He fills her heart with all of his passion. He fills her heart with a new song. Together they balance like the stars and the moonlight and the sun that sets with sweet earth. Together they stand alone with each other, and every day brings He fills our heart with a new song.